As we grow up, many of us often hear phrases like, be a good girl, be a good boy. What this means is adjust, conform, be nice, please people. Often this means that we were never taught how to self-regulate, how to have the emotional competence it takes to set boundaries and balance connection and autonomy, which makes a person more susceptible to illness. Stay tuned to learn about this type of emotional competence and why it sometimes goes against the first instinct that we acquired to overly adjust ourselves to other people. Hey everyone, welcome here. This is Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership. I'm Maika, I'm a psychologist, and happy to have you here. When we talk about health, we use terms like mental and physical health to just kind of narrow down what we're talking about. But what's important to remember is that none of these systems act independently from one another. If we really want to be healthy, we need to keep in mind that there's ultimately only one health, and that all the systems in our bodies are connected to each other and influence each other. Listen to this quote by neuroscientist and psychiatrist Dr. Bruce Perry. Most people, including many doctors, make a biological versus psychological distinction when they think about health. But once you understand more about neuroscience and how our senses and brain translate experience into biological activity, the artificial distinctions disappear. Gabor Maté is a physician who is specialized in the connection between people's physical health and their inner psychological world. He's written an excellent book about this called When the Body Says No. I really recommend it. And in the last chapter of that book, he talks about and summarizes what he's learned about being and staying healthy in a holistic sense. He calls the principles that he discusses there the 7 A's for healing. I found them very impactful, so I wanted to talk about them. This is what you need to be and become healthy. Number 1, acceptance. This is a really interesting way of relating to life. It may sound passive, but it's very proactive because this is something that most of us aren't born with, but that we have to practice. It's the willingness and the attitude of looking at what is and relating to it along the lines of, okay, here you are, fact of the matter. It's stopping the struggle against reality, against things that we can't change, against some of the discomfort that goes along with being alive. Acceptance means to be open to our feelings and experience whatever that may be with a compassionate, non-judgmental curiosity. This could mean to make room for a chronic pain in your awareness, for example, instead of trying to force it out of your awareness and losing so much energy in that fight. Acceptance also means to stop the struggle with our past, regretting that it wasn't different in a way that prevents us from healing and reactivates and prolongs the pain. Number 2, awareness of emotions and stress signals. In many cultures around the world, emotions are seen as a debilitating part of lower human nature. So we may be told not to be too emotional, not to be too sensitive, that if we really want to be cool, it means that we're not moved at all emotionally, and that if we want to be successful, we need to be rational. and exclude emotions. But if we want to be healthy, we need to be able to understand the signals coming from our bodies. Feelings and emotions are what let us know if we are on the track to healing and health or not. Number 3, anger. Not in the sense of rage, hostility, violence, or aggression, but in the sense of inner signals that let us know when we're under unhealthy stress. We may not have learned to check in with ourselves and see if the stress we're under builds resilience or if it's eating away at our health. And if that is the case, to set boundaries accordingly. When we grow up, what's usually emphasized is compliance, not self-regulation. It's so empowering to allow yourself to feel those first soft signals of anger that tell you that you need to set a boundary if you want to stay healthy long-term. And when we feel that mindfully, that allows us to take action and also relax and calm down and stay healthy long-term. Number 4, autonomy. While we absolutely need connection to be healthy, within those relationships, we need to have the autonomy or claim the autonomy to be ourselves, our true, authentic selves. We suffer and get ill when we're enmeshed with others, when there's no clear sense of where do I begin and where do I end? Where does the other person begin and end? We need to make our own choices and claim our right to show up as ourselves. Number 5, attachment. In his relatively new book with Oprah, Dr. Bruce Perry says, the best predictor of your current mental health is your current relational health or connectedness. We can't thrive without relationships. It's as simple as that. And the quality of our relationships depends on our relationship skills. There's a lot that can be said about that. I have a whole playlist that you can check out. But what Gabor Maté highlights is emotional vulnerability, seeking out contact to other people, opening up to others, and not giving in to our doubts about not being lovable. And I'd also add that the better we become at healthy autonomy and boundaries, the better we can also be at connection, because it won't feel as threatening anymore. Number 6, assertion. What Gabor Maté talks about in connection to this A is our sense of self-worth, being who we are without needing to justify that or our mere existence, allowing ourselves to exist as we are, independently of our achievements, abilities, what we do, or our reputation. We don't have to prove ourselves to anyone, and we're allowed to take time off, play, rest. Number 7, affirmation. This last A means to live guided by our values, and there are 2 that Gabor Maté highlights here. Number 1 is to honor our creative impulses, to allow our inner creativity to manifest in something in the outside, to express our vitality. And secondly, feeling our connection to something that is larger than ourselves, not to feel alone or cut off. We're not alone, we're not cut off, we're connected to something bigger. And to remind ourselves of that and live in that awareness, to seek what we may call the light, to fulfill our spiritual needs in whatever way we find works for us. Like always, thanks for watching. I hope there was something in this for you. I've talked about many of these A's before. I will add the links to related videos in the description box. Remember to subscribe if you're new here. Till next time, take care. And remember, you can only heal and stay healthy if you develop and refine the emotional competence that we need to self-regulate.